Today we speak about soul retrieval, or before that, the soul loss, which is an expression that you may have heard shamanically. Soul loss means that someone has lost part of their soul, which is their pure essence. And this usually happens through traumatic experiences. In the moment we experience trauma, the part of our soul that cannot handle that situation will leave us for the time being, so we can survive. So it's a positive aspect, actually, and we are able to get through something that is happening. So it's a wonderful survival mechanism that we have, but the difficult part is that just when this soul part, or more than one only, because we can lose more parts of our soul, they are just not coming back. So we start to feel fragmented, disoriented. We may not feel the same. That's a typical sentence. We are not present. We feel that we are in another dimension, quite spaced out. And in that case, the shaman would come and do a soul retrieval, which is a retrieving a part that has been missed. It's not something that can be done only on human beings, but we can do soul retrievals on a land, for example, after a fire. We need to retrieve something that has been destroyed. We can do soul retrieval of animals, on single people, on couples. So among the many symptoms that we feel when there is a soul loss, there can be anything from emotional imbalances to spiritual, mental and physical difficulties, illnesses. And strong indicators of that can be, for example, depressions, addictions, memory gaps, destructive patterns, abusive behaviors toward ourselves, toward others, extreme jealousy, rage, a comment such as like, I've never been the same since a specific date, and we know when that happened. And physical illnesses as well can be an outcome of a soul loss. For example, someone in early childhood had a traumatic experience with the parents because, for example, the two parents divorced, and by looking at the baby, the mother felt that sort of sense of genuine jealousy because the baby, so you yourself as a baby, was so peaceful, so full of beauty, healthy, that without even knowing that, there was this sense of jealousy. Oh, I would love to be with you because my life in this moment is difficult. And so without you knowing that, without your mother knowing that, you have lived for so many years with someone else who stole a part of your soul. It can happen in a relationship where there is a loss of trust for someone else, that then it becomes a pattern that we lose our trust for further relationships. So they are these traumatic experiences. We need also to be careful by speaking about trauma. With trauma, of course, we mean experiences, the big ones like divorce, redundancy, miscarriages, abortions, addictions, surgery, abuse. But by the time we define something, an event, trauma, we define that event, we put a label on that event, so we create a category. And that is where we create a sort of cage. So we also need to make a shift, to make a change in our way of speaking about happening in our life, because otherwise we are reinforcing these categories and they become stronger and stronger. So then it's just like as if we are locking more and more throughout this grieving process, something that is going deeper and deeper inside this trauma category. It's not something, of course, that we do per purpose. It's just by the fact that the society, the systems defines that in this way. But sometimes it's just better to work on that and accepting that there is this deep grief, this deep wound in our life, and that there are ways to go through and solve what's happening to us. And sometimes traumatic experiences, again, happens in a way that we are not aware, because someone else is we're walking in a city, someone else is making a comment on us, we are passing by, we don't even realize that, and we receive that comment, and a part of our souls feels deeply wounded in this comment. And then, first of all, we receive an error inside ourselves. So we would need an extraction from the shaman when we are having a shamanic healing. And then in that moment, the part of our soul decides to leave, because it's too much in that situation to handle what has been heard. So these are the soul retrieval and the extractions are the two main, let's say, among the many, because it's not just that only, parts that can be done during a shamanic healing. So becoming a healer has a beautiful importance and a beautiful role, because we cannot even realize how much we can do on people. It's not that people will lie down, we pass energy, we reactivate energy, and that's it. No, there is a much deeper work that needs to be done, that can be done to sort out a lot of imbalances, to heal a lot. So the shamanic box is really a wide one to be open. What is important is that we first learn ourselves, and we first heal ourselves, and we keep healing ourselves throughout the process, also when we become a healer, so that we remain a pure channel. And then when we feel that is something that is calling us, that is actually, there is an amazing beauty and in this role of helping others, and we find that probably our soul missions is being a healer on many levels of expressions that it can be, then we can become a shamanic practitioner, and then we can become a healer, and going through a journey where we really have the opportunity to learn an immense amount of ways for which we can heal people, so that every time that there is a need, we have a tool, and not necessarily it needs to be a session. We are helping other people in our daily life. It's not necessarily that we open a space, we close the space, and it has to be through the session, because then it becomes a modus vivendi, a way of living, that every time we find ourselves in a situation where it's required our support to help others, we just simply act upon. This is what has been requested in our soul contract, probably when we were at the reincarnation office, as I usually say, that we could have been receiving from life the conditions for us to help others.